how to start exercising when you're feeling like shit, when you don't trust your body, and when you have like a lot of anxious feelings in your body. All right, I grabbed my computer because first of all, we have to establish what we are talking about here. And I know the name of different disorders can have different names in different countries and be a bit like the criteria to get that diagnosed can differ from country to country. I was living in Sweden when I was diagnosed, and the diagnosis that I got was panic disorder with agoraphobia, and that consists of two parts. It's the panic disorder, panic syndrome, meaning that I struggled with having panic attacks, and the second part is agoraphobia. That was connected with the panic disorder. So panic disorder means that you experience panic attacks and you might not even know why or when they will arise. And the agoraphobia part is the part that I have struggled the most with and that I still struggle with to a certain degree. And that means that you are very scared of having a panic attack or having a panic attack hurt you, meaning that you are afraid of being in situations or places where you might have and experience a panic attack, and that you won't be able to seek help if you need it, where you won't be able to kind of escape. And this is not necessarily that you are trapped, like physically trapped, but it can be a socially trapping situation, if that makes sense. So for instance, going to a restaurant to have a dinner, and you in your mind think that it would be a catastrophe if you got a panic attack, because what if this and this would happen and you would be in that situation, and how would people look at you, what would they think of you, etc., etc. Okay, so let me share my exercising history with you. It's very short. I don't really have a history when it comes to exercising. I've been thinking about this a lot because I think it might have something to do with how I started experiencing exercising later in life. When I was a kid, I was always the kid who wanted to sit with the adults, talk about adult problems. I wanted to draw or do like arts and crafty stuff rather than run or play in the woods or climb trees or do sports. I hated doing sports because it was very competitive, and also because I didn't feel strong in my body. I never felt confident in my body, and by that I don't mean necessarily what my body looked like. I didn't feel confident that my body was capable of things. I didn't trust my body and my body's ability to carry me or to hold me or to be protecting me in a way. And maybe this doesn't make any sense, and for some people it might, but I know some people are more used to running fast or climbing things or lifting heavy stuff and feel very confident in their body's capabilities of doing physical things. But I never felt that way. I was more confident when it came to social situations or understanding problems or writing, or I learned how to read and write quite fast when I was a kid, and those kind of things. Being in control of my body, that was nothing that I really had growing up as a kid. In my teenage years, I started having panic attacks, and the situation that I was in then when I started experiencing panic attacks was a very mentally stressful situation. A lot of things were happening in my life that that were very hard to deal with, and that I think no one should have to deal with. For me, it was a very stressful situation. I was very much out of control, and I was also in my early teens. I was 12, 13, meaning life kind of sucks anyways. You have a lot of like hormone imbalance because things are happening. You are in puberty. I remember feeling very ugly. I remember thinking that I was in this weird transition of just waiting. I was just waiting to be a grown-up. I was just waiting and really wanting to be adult and have the control of my life. So it was a lot of things happening, and I started experiencing panic attacks. I was still not a kid that used to like go out for a run, play football, anything like that. I've seen this funny TikTok videos where people are like sharing videos from their like hip hop classes when they were 15. If I would have had a camera back then, I guess those videos of me would exist as well, but I didn't, and we were lucky for that. But I did take some like street dance classes, or try different types of dance classes. But other than that, I never really exercised. When I was a teenager, I had a lot of like very classical sudden panic attacks when you kind of the time span from having the first symptom of your panic attack until it's over is quite short, and it has a very like, it has a peak and then it goes down. When I was in my early 20s, I started experiencing a lot of fear of having panic attacks, which was super hard to live with. Like, if you are going through this, I feel with you. It really sucks. Like, it's a state that I don't wish anyone would ever experience. But know that it's not gonna be like this forever. It will pass, and there are things that you can do to feel better, and exercising is one of them. When you experience a panic attack, you experience that as something is happening to you. Like, it's very physical. It's something physically in your body, and it's super scary, and it can even be so intense that you believe that you are dying and you are terrified of everything that you are feeling in your body. When you start having a lot of panic attacks, your body kind of believes that every symptom that you feel in a panic attack, when you feel that outside of a panic attack, your body kind of believes that that is a panic attack coming, or that you are in some kind of dangerous situation or some kind of uncomfortable situation that you need to escape. And then the catastrophizing begins. You start thinking of, like, what if I might vomit? What if I might faint? What if people will see that I'm sweating? What if people will think that I'm mentally ill and they will call the cops, and then this bad thing will happen, and then like I will end up being locked up somewhere and my family won't visit me and everyone will forget about me. Like, the catastrophizing thoughts can be triggered by something very natural as having a rapid heart rate. When we are experiencing a panic attack or a lot of anxiety, we have symptoms, we feel symptoms that we also feel when we are exercising. And this is what is so hard, because it's triggering, like, normal things that happen in our bodies when we exercise can trigger a panic attack. And it might happen to you, and you have to know that that can happen, but you're gonna survive that. It's not gonna be the end of the world. And just knowing that you put yourself in a situation where you could experience a panic attack, intentionally doing that because you want to overcome it, I think that is the goal of the year. Like, if you can do that, I mean, you should celebrate no matter what happened, no matter if you had a panic attack or went home crying, at least you still did that, and that is very brave. The sensations that we feel in our bodies when we exercise are the sensation of getting warm. We feel warm in our bodies. We might start sweating. Our palms might start sweating. We might feel we feel our heart being faster and harder. We might feel, if we are running, for instance, we might feel a bit like crampy maybe in our legs, or shaky in like shaky legs. What more? We might feel lightheaded. All these sensations in our bodies are perfectly normal when you're exercising, and those can be symptoms that you feel when you're having a panic attack, and it can be scary. And only feeling one of these sensations in our body can be scary enough. For me to start exercising, I had to stop thinking of it as exercising or working out or getting in shape or anything like that. Like, this doesn't have anything to do with what our bodies look like, or any like goals in terms of like classical workout goals. Like, I know sometimes people have like personal records of lifting this and that amount of weight. Like, exercising when you are in a lot of like mental distress, that is like, just skip that part, because it has nothing to do with that. I've found that doing yoga and running are two ways for me to exercise that I find great. Both of them are not competitive. It's something I can do by myself or together with people if I want to. And it's something that it doesn't require any equipment. Okay, so let's be more specific. When it comes to running, I hated running. I know a lot of people hate running, and no matter if they have panic attacks or not. Like, a lot of people don't like running, and a lot of people really enjoy running. And running is something that is so natural. We all can do it, almost all of us. If we are able-bodied, it's something we can do, and it doesn't really require anything. But it's hard to get started. It's hard to get started because of a number of reasons, but if we are very panicky, it's scary to run because we are afraid of all the symptoms, as I mentioned. I downloaded the app Couch to 5K. Couch to 5K is a free app that you can download. I think it's both available on Android. It is available both on Android and on iPhone. It's an app made specifically to get people to start running, no matter if they have, like, it's not specifically for someone who has anxiety. It's just an app to start running. It's very like bite-sized. So you download it. It is over, if I'm not remembering incorrectly, I think it's over 30 days. And every day you have a program to follow. The program is very simple. I think the first day you kind of do a light jog for 30 seconds, then you walk for 90 seconds, then you do a jog for 30 seconds, and so on. It's also a very good way to do kind of exposure therapy almost. So you do something that scares you, running in this case, or just like having the blood pump more fast in your body. You do that for 30 seconds, and then you kind of calm down and you kind of breathe, and you can almost think of it as kind of just experiencing the sensations in your body for a longer period. And then you do the little exposure piece again, and then you have a recovery part again. For me, that was pretty much what I did also in exposure therapy. I've been to a lot of different therapy because of this and other issues that I've had. So it is almost like going to therapy, and it's super helpful because it's also meant for you to kind of strengthen your body, also like just physically, not only in your brain, right? That's a very specific thing that I think you should do. And as I said, I was never a runner. I was never someone who liked to be physical, but it helped me to start running and enjoy it. The other thing that I love when it comes to exercising or moving my body is doing yoga. I tried yoga the first time when I was 17, and I remember I was amazed of how I was sore in muscles that I didn't know existed. What's great about doing yoga is that it starts with meditation. Then you do some positions, some asanas and some flows maybe, and you kind of move your body. And then it also ends with meditation. What I think is so beautiful with yoga is because it kind of connects our thoughts, our minds, and our bodies, but it's still a very good workout, like physically. You can decide yourself when you need to take a step back and take a rest. You can always adapt things to a level that fits you, and no one will know if you adapt or adjust things because you're not feeling like doing that today, or if you are super panicky and super anxious that day. Like, nobody will know, or maybe they will know, but everyone is kind of understanding. I feel that every time I go to a yoga studio or a yoga room, everyone is like there to kind of focus on themselves and focus on their breathing. So it's a very kind environment to be in, and it kind of includes things that are very good if you have a lot of anxiety. Exercising and meditating and focusing on your breathing are things that are very helpful if you experience a lot of anxiety, and that's what you practice. That's what you do when you do yoga. When I started doing yoga, sometimes it was so fucking hard to just dare to go there because I had so much anxiety. I remember being so anxious of just coming to the studio and again catastrophizing, thinking something bad would happen, that something would go wrong, like my heart would stop, I would do something weird because of my anxiety, and people would look at me as if I'm crazy and so on. I think what has helped for me is to just acknowledge that I have those thoughts and do things anyways. Do things despite being very scared. Sometimes we have to do things even though we feel very scared in our bodies when we do them, in order to expand our lives. Even though feeling all these sensations in my body and having all these super intense thoughts of all the things that could go wrong if I went to this class, I still did it. And I set up super tiny small goals for me. It could be like, if I only walk to the place, to the studio, that's okay if I go home. If I can put myself in the situation where I actually dare to walk into the room, that's a goal. Like, set super tiny goals for yourself and be very kind and compassionate with yourself. One day you might be having a shitty day, but that doesn't mean that you are back on square one. That means that you struggled that day and tomorrow can be a totally different thing. There are so many videos online on YouTube. You can find so many guided practices that are just exactly as good as the practices that you experience in a yoga studio. So if you want to get started now, I think you can totally do that. I hope this was helpful for someone. If it was, please let me know. That would mean the world to me to know that maybe I helped you to see things a little differently. And as I said, like, I used to have so much anxiety. I used to have so much intense feelings, so much intense thoughts, and life was super hard for me. Now it's not, and it's partly because I have started exercising, and expanding my comfort zone and starting to slowly build a trust to my body. Today I know that I can go out and run for 20 minutes and nothing bad will happen to my body. And just having that win is such a great feeling, and it's so rewarding, and I hope you get to experience this too. Okay, I think we will end now because I have so much things that I want to say. But let's end this video, and the next video I think it's gonna be more about interior design and furniture and that kind of vibe again. But I just wanted to throw this video in there and wish you a very nice week, and I hope you're having a good day. Looking crazy, feeling happy. It's always such a nice feeling to come home after a run. Even though it's short, maybe not super fast, we are only doing this to feel good.